How's everyone doing this morning? Good, good. It's great to see all of you. Thank you to Harry and team for having me come and join all of you this morning. It's really an honor to be up here. Now, before we get started, just by show of hands, how many of you are on LinkedIn right now as we speak? Wow. That's impressive. Give all of yourselves a round of applause because you're really awesome. I've been doing this work now, it's hard to believe, I've been doing this work now for almost 4 years, okay? And I get chills actually, even just saying that. Back at the beginning of 2009, when I was launching my business, I was getting out there in the communities and started right here in Jacksonville. I would ask folks, how many of you are on LinkedIn, like I just asked you, and we'd have one or two hands maybe go up. People didn't hear about it. Now they're using it. By no show of hands, how many of you in this room are connected with me on LinkedIn? Wow, that's impressive. I feel honored. LinkedIn and social media in general, this is the message that I want to convey to all of you as a preface before I get started. Social media has changed my life, okay? LinkedIn specifically has changed my life, and I want it to change yours, okay? Your next job is one step away, but it's going to be through a connection, okay? So a lot of people, this is a great room, you get it. A lot of people throw LinkedIn social media by the wayside because they associate with, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for Facebook. I'm really targeted, I'm really focused on what sort of a job I want. I'm going to go after it, but they don't leverage the tools that are out there. So what I hope to accomplish over the next 60 minutes or so is really your understanding of how it works in today's job market. Social media has become the game changer. Just to tell you a little bit about myself. I was in the banking and finance industry from about 2002 to 2008. Okay, so my background is in banking. It's not in staffing. It's not in human resources. It's not in social media. It's in banking. Okay, I started my career in 2002 in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale, where I'm from. Right there with you, Wilfredo. And brought me here to Jacksonville 06, and by 08, when the economy took a nosedive, I found myself out of a job. Like a lot of folks probably in this room at some point or another have found themselves out of a job. Okay, my wife was 8 months pregnant at the time. I had no options. I didn't know where my next job was going to come from. And there's a girl saying, mom knows best. Okay, and within a few minutes of losing my job, I called my mother. I said, hey mom, I just lost my job. She said, son, sorry to hear about that, but you need to get on a website called LinkedIn.com. Now, my mom and dad are real estate brokers in South Florida, okay? I'm saying to myself, well, link to what? What is that? Well, you're a smart kid. Go ahead and figure it out. This is exactly what she said. So, okay. Well, my mom and dad are using LinkedIn for the real estate business. How's that going to help me as a banker, a now laid off banker, find a job? So I go home, I get on LinkedIn. Within 5 minutes of creating my profile, I'm joining groups, I'm engaging, I'm interacting, and all I'm seeing is people like me that just lost their job. Now, I lost my job in November 2008. 500,000 other Americans were laid off in the month that I was laid off. Okay. These were the times where you would turn on the news, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I was working for AIG at the time, if anyone's ever heard of them. Okay, and you were hearing about bailouts and all this fun stuff. Okay, so I was a product of that. That's all I saw on LinkedIn. So immediately, my strategy became, how do I differentiate myself from every other person in America that's losing their job and going on LinkedIn or going on these external resources and saying, hey, I just lost my job, help me. The strategy became, let me do something that I can really use, what God has given me is talent to help others find jobs, okay? Let me use my last almost 10 years of working for corporate America as a corporate slave. Let me use that to my advantage, and instead of the economy taking something from me, let me take something from the economy, okay? So I started up JobsDirectUSA. And through JobsDirectUSA, I built a network of job seekers, which today many of them are working, because again, this started 2008, and we're now in 2012. And the work that I performed through JobsDirectUSA led me to build relationships. Brad is in this room. Brad knows Harry. Harry has brought me here to speak to you. Relationships is what will change your life. Okay, realizing that LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter are only tools, but it's up to you to implement your knowledge, your God-given ability. That's the difference maker. Okay, so as we roll into this, I'm going to talk to you about how you can find a job in 2012. Now, again, I'll tell you this: social media, it's evolving daily. There's a lot of so-called gurus and experts out there. I don't like to label myself as that, because it's kind of hard to be an expert of something that's constantly evolving and changing. The material that I'm going to be covering today to you is probably different than the material I was covering 6 months ago, okay, because it has changed. What I am going to talk to you about is how recruiters are using this to their advantage, how you as a candidate can use this to your advantage, to go ahead and get in front of who's hiring, what to say to them. You're going to learn how to find a job in 90 days or less. Kind of the 90-day or less title has stuck. I like to say that with this material that I'm going to teach you, realistically, if you use it to your advantage, if you kind of combine what you're already doing, you can find a job realistically in 30 days or less. Okay? All of you look like sharp individuals. You're already using LinkedIn, so that's half the battle right there. In a lot of the workshops and job fairs I've spoken at, you'd be surprised. There's people that have never even heard of it. Those are the folks that it's probably more of a 90-day process. Okay, so if you're already using it, if you're already engaging, if you're already connected with folks such as myself and Brad and others that are connected to recruiters, then this is easy. Okay. I'm going to discuss with you social media and its impact on today's job search process, and also 5 steps to follow. I encourage you to take notes. I see a lot of you have paper and a pen in front of you. If you don't have a sheet of paper, ask one of your neighbors. Just a little bit about myself. I founded JobsDirectUSA in 2008. Prior to that, I managed at Fortune 500 companies, Citigroup, Regions Bank, AIG. I entered a contest in 2010 through Fast Company magazine. There was no prize money. There's nothing behind this other than a contest to discover who's the most influential person online. I have 33,000 entries. I came in at number 39, which I don't think is too bad for someone that at the time was unemployed for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Okay, again, social networking, getting out there, meeting people, shaking hands. A lot of what you alluded to, Nathan, relationship building. Okay, I always say social media has changed my life, but really it's the relationships that have been generated through social media. Again, Brad in the back of the room being, really a blessing in my life. Relationship that came directly through LinkedIn. Been featured by CNN Money, news outlets, that's great. Again, I put this up there because I want you to see this is a product of losing your job, okay, and deciding you're not going to let the economy defeat you, okay? A lot of folks I've met over the last 4 years now have this mindset, okay, that I'm where I'm at because of the economy, because something happened, okay? Listen, God has a plan for all of us. I wouldn't be standing in front of you right now if it wasn't for the plan that God laid out for me, okay? I'm a messenger. I'm again, now in a new position with a great company that none of that would have ever come to light or to fruition if it wasn't for me losing my job and doing the work that I've done over the last 4 years, okay? The same holds true for each and every one of you. I always say to folks, if I can lose my job, launch a business that's helped so many people in America find work, then you know what? There's no reason why you can't find yourself a job. Okay? Now, as we move on, all of you have a value. Okay, just the few of you that stood up, I was impressed. Okay, there are individuals in this room that had the talent and the ability to own a management position, to be a C-level executive. It's up to you and only you to convey and communicate that value that you possess. Okay, all of you are talented and valuable acquisitions to a company. Your challenge right now at this moment is to go ahead and be able to get yourself in front of those employers that are out there. The first thing that you want to ask yourself is, why would an employer hire you? Okay, if I am a recruiter and I ask you, Susan, tell me about yourself, you have one chance to make a first impression, not two, but one, and you have about 15 to 30 seconds max to sell yourself to me. Okay. Have you done 29 things yet, Brad?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you that heard Brad's 29 things, you're at a job fair, you're really excited, you get dressed up, you have your resume with you, you walk up to the table, it's game time, okay? This is, again, where you have to ask yourself, why would a company hire you? Okay? I call it a 30-second pitch or an elevator speech. Whether you're at a job fair, a phone interview, a face-to-face networking event, okay, there will come a point in time where you will be asked, and usually it happens this manner, Bob, tell me about yourself. Okay? Saying, I'm a job seeker, I'm looking for work, I'm in transition, this is not appealing to me. Okay? I'm just telling you, if you have this on your LinkedIn profile, it's not appealing to me or to a recruiter. Okay? Think of yourself as a professional with value. So from this moment forward, you are not unemployed. Okay? Unemployed is not a job title. Okay? It's a status of where you're at in your life right now. You don't have a job. Okay? However, you could also look at it as looking for a job is a full-time job in itself. Would most of you agree with me? Okay. All of you are entrepreneurs in your own light, marketing yourselves and your abilities so you can land an opportunity. Okay? So, regardless of what industry you come from, whether it's banking or it's marketing or it's sales, okay, you are a professional with value. All right? Have you stopped and thought for a moment? If you gather your thoughts, what makes yourself valuable, and how you'll introduce yourself to a potential employer or recruiter, that's your pitch. Okay, so right now, take just a few seconds, let's give it about 60, and write down what makes you unique, okay, why you should be hired, and what you would say to an employer. And the next slide, I'm going to give you an example of my own introduction that recently I found myself in a position to have to convey. Here's a sample 30-second pitch. I'll read it to you verbatim. Hi, my name is Carlos Gill. I'm a banking and finance professional. I possess a decade worth of experience representing Fortune 500 companies in my industry, such as Citigroup, AIG, and Regions Financial. I have direct experience in project management, credit underwriting, and managing sales teams. Currently, I serve as CEO and founder of a company I founded in 2008, which helps career professionals find employment. I am seeking an opportunity to align my career objectives with a company or organization which values my skill set and experience. Okay?
You got that printed out for us?
This right here can easily be transferred to any one of you in this room. Okay? It can. What I'm trying to do through this instruction, and believe me, this is on my LinkedIn profile right now in the summary section. Okay? So after today, once you put together what your pitch really is, it can be inserted right away in your LinkedIn summary on your profile. This can go directly in messages to employers, emails, LinkedIn messages, Facebook messages. Okay? Once you rehash this and practice it, do you understand how this works right here? Okay, basically this is a mini synopsis of who you are and what you bring to the table. A couple things I want to point out to you. The obvious, my name is. You want people to know your name. You want them to walk away saying, wow, that Brian guy, he really impressed me. And again, let's put this in the context real quick at a job fair, okay? Brad and I have attended a lot of these. Recruiters get overwhelmed. They get bombarded. They see so many job seekers in the course of 4 or 5 hours that I guarantee you they will not remember your resume when they walk away, but they will remember the face-to-face interaction. And another thing that they will remember is who bothered to follow up with them. Believe me, I've done enough of these, and I usually will call and follow up with the employers at the end of the job fair, like the next couple of days after, and ask them, hey, what do you think? It was a great event. I met a lot of candidates. Great. Has anyone contacted you? Has anyone followed up? One or two. Okay. Well, those one or two are the ones that have just positioned themselves, okay, and skipped to the front of the job search line. Okay? Because again, they stood out, they were unique, they followed up. Okay? They might have had a really good engagement with the recruiter with something like this. Okay, the recruiter said, you know what? Here's my business card. Contact me when you leave here today. Because this stack of resumes, I'm probably not going to go through this when I get back to the office. Okay, so here's my business card. That's reality. Okay, that's what happens every single day at job fairs. All right. This right here is to help you stand out. Regardless of what industry you represent or you're looking for work in, you need to convey very important word, professional. All right. That is what companies are looking for. And it's interesting. Recently, well, a couple of months ago, I spoke to a group of ex-offenders at Operation New Hope. If anyone's heard of that program, basically they are trying to help ex-offenders find jobs. Legitimate question. I work in a warehouse. I drive a forklift. I pour concrete. Okay. Well, you are a warehouse professional. Okay. Forklift driver, you are a logistics professional. Okay. Cement guy, you can think of I'm a cement pouring professional. No, I am a labor professional. Again, professional resonates a lot cleaner and easier in the eyes and ears of a potential employer than just, I'm a truck driver, I'm a banker, okay? So again, from now on, when you introduce yourself to someone, you are Brian Quirk, a higher education professional, okay? Put yourself on that pedestal. I possess a decade worth of experience. Again, this is putting it out there. I possess experience. I am valuable, okay? It's okay to sell yourself. You're trying to get a job. You're trying to make yourself stand out in the eyes of the company. Okay? So put out there that you possess a set number of years of experience. All right? I guarantee you if you're trying to get a job with your 2 decades worth, or me as a college graduate that has no experience that's competing for the same position you're applying for, guess what stands out more? 2 decades worth of experience, no experience. Does that make sense? Okay? The next, you want to state where you've worked before. In my case, I've worked for some notable companies, so I want that to stand out. Again, it's kind of leveraging the yin and the yang. I want them to know I've worked for some pretty good companies. You need to know about it. If they took a chance on me, so should you. I have direct experience, and this is where it gets kind of vague. It gets kind of open, okay? Because the experience I had as a branch manager, okay, or a sales manager in my previous roles, while it was in the banking and finance industry, that's easily transferable to multiple industries when you break it down like this. Project management, when you're a branch manager and you're responsible for an $18 million credit portfolio, and you have employees, guess what? There's a lot of moving parts that go into that operation. That's not branch management, that's project management. All right? Project management, credit underwriting. All right? This shows that I'm an analytical person. If I can approve, okay, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 mortgage applications, then you know what? I probably have some good judgment somewhere. So that's analytical experience. Managing sales teams. I'm a leader. I'm able to lead fish to water. I'm able to show documented success that works. So again, the exercise that we did before is for you to make an assessment. So when you go back today and you put together what your 30-second pitch is, what makes you unique, what makes you stand out, you take all of this, okay, and put it into context. What you're currently doing. This is important, okay, because you don't want to just come out and flat out say, I'm unemployed. Because once you come out and say that, all this great information that you just told this person just kind of goes out the window. All right. What can you be doing while you're in transition? What should you be doing? What can you be doing? Go for it. Excellent. Volunteering.
Increasing your skills through education.
Education is another one. One of the things that will stand out from today's workshop is your understanding that it's a competitive world out there. Okay, just look in the room, look at the talent in this room, and you'll see how competitive it is in this room. Now imagine in Jacksonville, in Florida, in the United States. It's competitive out there. I'm not going to lie to you and say, hey, you know, it's easy. It's easy to find the job and get in front of the employers when you have the knowledge. But it's competitive. There's a lot of people out there vying for jobs. What makes you stand out? Are you volunteering, or are you sitting on the couch waiting for the phone to ring? Are you learning a new skill or trade, or are you waking up every morning at 10 o'clock, going on Career Builder or Monster, and just putting as many resumes out there? Some of you might, okay? After today, you won't. Some of you might be doing that. How many of you in this room right now have business cards? Wow. Wow. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's impressive. You know why? Because if I meet you at a networking event, if I'm a recruiter, okay, what am I used to on a daily basis? Hi, I'm Carlos Gill. Boom. My business card. If you come back and you say, hi, what's your Irene Love?
Irene Love.
Hi, Irene Love. Nice to meet you, and here's my business card. That's the exchange that employed professionals are used to engaging in. Okay? So, again, let's go back to your 30-second pitch. You want to state what you're currently doing. If you're currently doing nothing other than looking for a job, get with Harry. He has a great organization right here in-house. Get with me, get with Brad, get with Gary. We can point you in the right direction. There's a lot of nonprofits out there that are looking for volunteers, especially in these times, okay? I'll give you some advice. Whatever industry you represent, I can guarantee you there's a professional trade association for that industry. Any HR folks in here? Okay. Any project management folks in here? Okay. There's PMI. There's SHRM if you're in HR. There's a lot of nonprofits out there. There's a lot of trade associations. They can use your help. Get involved. Get involved at your church. Get involved at a school. Offer to volunteer any which way you can. I know folks in the healthcare industry that are volunteering at hospitals. They're taking internships just so they can stay active, stay engaged, acquire another skill. They're meeting potential hiring managers in their roles. Okay? The name of the game is to not sit idle and wait for the phone to ring. Be out there and be active. Because the game changer, I'll get to you in a second. The game changer is not just who you know, but who knows you. Question. Besides Susan, do we have any traditional core sales and marketing folks in this room? Just one? Okay. Have you gone to an interview and tried to turn it around? And to add to your point, Bob, okay? Turn it around on them. Ask them what their strategy as a company is to see how you can be best aligned with their strategy going forward. Have you tried doing that? Okay? Because what you'll find is you will easily be able to set the tone, okay, for the remainder of the interview process. You'll be able to set the tone to such where you will be interviewing them, you will have the ball in your court, you'll be determining if you would even fit within that company's structure. Okay? And how do you do that? Okay? The same way they're going to say, Bob, tell me about yourself. So Susan's on the other side of the desk. So Susan, tell me about the company. Tell me about what you do. Okay? Tell me about what you're looking for in a potential new hire. Okay? Tell me how long this position has been unfilled. Tell me about your ideal candidate. Tell me about what you're looking for in someone to hire. You might walk away in that 45 to 60 minutes. You might walk away saying, I don't want to work here because ideally, if they hire me, I'm not going to be happy. And you know what? You cut your losses and you move on to the next. That's the beauty of that. When you start putting yourself in the mindset of, I'm valuable. Okay, I am looking to go ahead and market myself. I'm not just looking for a job. I'm looking for who wants me. Yes.
Plus, I think what that does when you ask them those questions is there seems to a lot of times be a big disconnect between what they publish as desired skills, responsibilities, and job description and what they actually want. So if you ask those questions early up front in the interview, you may go in thinking, okay, they want me to be the Excel expert, or they want me to have the project management, expertise. And you go into the interview and you ask what their strategy is, and they may say, well, we really need you to develop workshops, or we really need this person to do X, Y, Z, and then you can tailor the rest of your interview answers and the rest of your, responses based on what they actually want, not what you thought they wanted based on HR's job description.
I've never gone into an interview, not now at 28 and not at 19, okay? I've never gone into an interview where I've allowed a company to pry me, okay? It's the other way around. I'm getting to know the company. I want to know if I really fit with their culture, okay? I really want to know if I'm on the job, am I going to be successful at the end of the day, okay? I don't want to take a job and be unhappy, all right? And to add to your point and what you said, you want to be able to be set up for success.
Right.
That's the name of the game. Because I tell you what, I've been telling folks this since 19 years old at Citigroup, And I say today, everything that you do is a stepping stone for the future. Okay, if you take a position and it doesn't work out, that might impact you down the road somehow, some way. If you take a position, you're really successful, that might lead to other opportunities. Okay, so keep that in the forefront. Moving on with you are a brand and you are valuable, and to me, this is something I see a lot. Do not apply for just any job. Okay, I see a lot of folks, and excuse me if I offend anyone, but in the baby boomer generation, that are just applying for any entry-level job that they see out there. Okay, why? Because they're desperate to work. I'm sorry, working at Starbucks and Walmart might be really fun, but that's not where you should be. You should be focusing on finding an opportunity that meets your skill set and your qualifications. Okay? At this point in your career, applying for an entry-level position could lower your value. Again, this goes back to you are a brand and you are valuable. Everything that you wrote before, that piece of paper that eventually you will craft into your 30-second elevator pitch, that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you valuable, because you're able to clearly convey that. Okay? Apply only for jobs that meet your qualifications and candidate criteria, and set realistic expectations if you expect success. Now, what do I mean by that? You have a lot of folks out there that they see a job listing, they see a company they really want to work for, they just apply for it without even reading what the company is looking for. Okay? So then when they receive 25 automatically generated emails in their inbox every morning saying that they've been turned down, then they get really disappointed and they feel like no one's hiring. No one wants to hire me. Okay? What's happening here, if you didn't know, is that companies, when they receive your resume through their website, they're not even looking at your resume. Okay? Did you know that? All right. No one is looking at your resume. What happens is you apply. You take about 40, how long does it take to even apply for a job? About 45, 60 minutes?
Minimum.
Yeah? You go to a company's website, you create a profile, you have to take time to kind of search through all the positions, then you pick which ones you really like. Okay, by this point, your eyes are already fried, so you're not taking the time to read through. You apply, the application process is 45 to 60 minutes long. There might be an assessment or some sort of a test in between. You've already given a company your time that you're not getting paid for, and they're not giving you even the courtesy or respect of calling you to say, hi, Mr. Bob, thanks a lot for applying with us. We're reviewing your qualifications and your resume. We'll get back to you shortly. They're not doing that, okay? So what I'm going to walk you through in the steps as we progress is how you can first of all value your time, so you're not just giving it away for free, but also how you can apply for jobs which realistically you have a shot of landing, okay? Now what happens, again, going back to the automated process, is companies know what they're looking for. So they're looking for a .NET programmer with 7 to 10 years of experience, and your resume doesn't contain any of the certain keywords that their algorithms are looking for. If you don't have that experience level, if you don't have the education they're looking for, your resume automatically gets weeded out. A human being will never look at it. Just won't happen. Okay. On the flip side, if you connect with a recruiter on LinkedIn, a person on LinkedIn will read their messages as they come through their inbox. Okay. That's the difference right there, right off the bat. Okay. So before we move on, the point that I really want you to understand here is, as a candidate, and again, this goes back to what you wrote on your sheets of paper, where are you as a professional? Where do you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And what makes you unique? Think about that as you're out there applying. Okay, I call it a blind resume or a blind application. And what that is you going out there on the web, applying for every single job that you see, whether it's a barista at Starbucks or a greeter at Walmart or a C-level executive and everything in between. Okay, and just hoping that you get out of those 100 applications that someone calls you and offers you a job. Okay, again, please don't let this be you. Please don't let this be you. Okay, there's a lot of talent in this room. Not gonna kid you. I see a lot of talent in this room that could probably be my boss. Okay, so respect yourself, respect what you've worked for all these years. Okay, and pursue opportunities which you are very much qualified for. I've been on both sides. I've hired people in my career, and I'll tell you what, I would never hire someone my age or younger than me. Okay, never. I'm 28 today, and I haven't had to hire someone since I was about 24 or 25. I would never hire someone who's in their 20s for that point, okay? Because I want the Brian Quirks. I want people like Susan. I want people that can add value to my organization. But it's all in how you present yourself and how you're able to overcome that objection. I tell people at the end of the day, listen, okay, you know what you're worth. You know what sort of money you're looking for. You know what you can bring to the table. If you can sell yourself to a potential employer and you know how to convey that, you need not look for an entry-level position. Okay? Companies are hiring. Yes, Harry?
I was just going to add something to what you answered Eva with. If your strategy is to find out about jobs that are more appropriate than the one that got posted, then using an application for a job you're overqualified for is probably a bad strategy to get there, which I'm paraphrasing what Carlos has already said. What you need instead is to go to something like LinkedIn and see if you know anybody who's currently inside the company and do your reconnaissance through your inside champion to find out if there is or if there might be in the near term an opportunity that's more appropriate.
I think it may turn out to be a belly-to-belly meeting that needs to happen.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
I do know someone in the company, so I think I'm gonna have to.
All right.
Do that. That's what you need to do. The whole job search process is so skewed. It's ridiculous. I found my first job in 2002. I was in Fort Lauderdale. You're familiar with the Sun Sentinel, correct? I opened up the Sun Sentinel on a Sunday while I was at another job. I opened up, saw the classified section, saw a little ad, Citigroup is hiring, $8.50 an hour, fax your resume here, boom, it was done. By Friday that week, I landed the job. Okay, it doesn't work that way anymore. All right, realistically speaking. And that's why I say the job search process is skewed. It's not job boards, it's not job fairs, it's really communication. All right? Your website might say one thing, but you might have a job that's not even advertised. That unless I contact you, a recruiter, I will never know about. Unless I form dialogue, I will never learn about that opportunity. Okay? And trust me, companies will create a position for you if you strike the right chord with them. How will you find a job here? Okay, this is just to get you a see. Got few employers, limited number of jobs, a lot of people. Okay, how do you find a job here? Okay, the answer is you probably won't. Okay, how do you stand out from all these people in this room right here? Okay, again, that's having a clear, concise 30-second pitch in which you can clearly tell a company why you should be hired, what makes you unique, what your goals are. Okay? Looking for a job is a job itself. If you expect to be successful, you must put forth an effort. This is not a marathon. This is a sprint. Okay? Everything that you do, coming here today, coming here last week, the week before, next week, interacting with your peers on breaks, connecting on LinkedIn, that's all part of the game. That's all part of the strategy. All right? Embrace social media. Okay? This is real big. I've seen a lot of people that have taken 5, 6, 7 months to find a job because they never embraced social media from the start. My wife being one of them. Yes?
I'm holding up my hand because I'm telling you, I'm one of them.
Yeah? What reservations have you had about social media, if you don't mind sharing, that has made you
And I
pull
don't.
back?
I don't mind sharing that at all. The previous two positions I had were not, it was marketing positions. They weren't willing to embrace social media. I never took the time to learn anything about it. So I just figured it was something random and daunting, and although I was on LinkedIn, I was just kind of marginally on LinkedIn. I wasn't leveraging it. I wasn't maintaining that network that I needed to maintain. And I was afraid of it, quite honestly. I thought, oh, Steve the Stalker's going to be out there, and and that kind of nonsense. So, and I woke up not too many months ago and said, I've been out of work for a long time. Something I'm not doing right. If I keep doing this, it's not working. It's crazy to keep doing the same thing.
There's a lot of
I understood, yeah.
There's a lot of reservations. I'll get to you in a second. There's a lot of reservations when it comes to social media. Privacy, someone's going to steal my identity. I don't want people to know what I look like. I don't want them to know my age. So many of these factors I say, hey, that has to go out the window. Again, if you're planning on finding employment, you need to get in front of the people that are hiring. And the way to do that right now, today, is through social media, primarily LinkedIn. Okay? How many of you, by show of hands, are on Facebook? Okay? Now keep your hand up if you're using Facebook in your job search. One of you? So all of you that are on Facebook, only one of you is using it? Okay. Before I get to my next point, how are you using it for? Because that's a trick question what I just asked you. How are you using it?
So I've emailed everybody I know through Facebook, people that I'm connected with, and let them know that I was back in the job market, and did they know anybody, particularly in this area, since they don't know anybody in the area.
Okay, good deal. You should keep your hands up when I ask you the last question, because you are using it indirectly in your job search, because guess what companies are doing to get to know you before they call you for an interview? You want to take a wild guess?
Check out your Facebook page.
They're going on Google, they're typing in
Lou Iglesias.
Louis Iglesias, and then guess what comes up? Your LinkedIn profile, probably your Facebook right underneath. And before they're even going to LinkedIn, they're going to Facebook just to learn everything they can about you and identify very quickly, is this someone that we want to take a chance on and hire? Okay? So the way I kind of spin that is, you need to be using Facebook no different than you use LinkedIn. It's an engagement tool. It's a social tool. Go on there as soon as you go home. Say, hey, I just left a seminar. I'm looking for employment. Can you please help me? Okay? Average folks have 2 or 3, 4, 500 friends on Facebook. If these are true friends, leverage that to your advantage. Okay? Get them to help you, because I guarantee you, your friends are probably working somewhere, and they probably have an insight as to whether or not their employer is actively hiring and who's the person that you need to contact. So that's the first place that you should go before you even dive into LinkedIn. All right? Facebook. Any questions with regards to that? 'Cause I see some heads kind of, yeah.
Well, sometimes it's like church and state. Like for me, I want to keep Facebook personal, beyond the job search, and then LinkedIn will be like the professional, and that's how I want to maintain it. So my Facebook is very limited. When you walk in from the outside, it's just my name, so that
Okay.
someone knows that I have a Facebook page. But it's so that it's stripped,
Not everyone is that way.
right?
And first of all, with all social media, there should be no expectation of privacy. None. The second you register on Facebook, they own your proprietary data. They can sell it, they can reuse it, they can do anything that they want with it because you are on their network. That's one, okay? So,
Or they can change their platform and change all your security settings.
so when people say, well, you know, I don't mix Facebook with business because that's mine, it's personal. No, it's not. No, it's not. I could look up anyone on Facebook and at least see what you do after hours. Your default picture might be completely different than what I see in person or what I see on LinkedIn. You need to keep it uniform. Again, let's go back to branding. Talk about that for a second. The person that you convey in person, face-to-face, should be who I see on LinkedIn. It should be who I see on Facebook too, because Facebook is a part of the strategy. Okay? And to that point, companies are using it actively as a screening tool. Okay? That's reality. So, as I've even told folks, don't even just limit yourself to LinkedIn. If you meet a recruiter, okay, channel everything through LinkedIn. If you don't hear back from them on LinkedIn, go to Facebook and look them up on there. Okay, because I guarantee you, they're looking you up. All right, so make the playing field even. Again, recognize if you're on it, it's up to you. And this is why I say in all these workshops, we're all adults. It's up to us, okay, to monitor the content that we put out there. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. It's not anyone else's fault. It's up to you. So, with that being said, make sure that everything that's being communicated while you are looking for work is just a good representation of your professional brand. Yes?
I was helping a company hire a manager in Indiana, and I put out an ad, we're looking for somebody to fill this position. He sent me his resume, went on Facebook, saw his picture, he had a half a case of beer, cut off in half, and he was using it as a hat. That was his default picture.
Yeah.
So as I was talking to him on the phone, and I said, John, I says, could you open up your email? I copied the picture and I sent it to him.
Yep.
I said, could you open up your email? He said, sure. And I said, did you open up that one I just sent you? He said, yeah. I says, is that you? It got real quiet.
Yeah.
And I said, sir, I said, I appreciate that you have a different side to
Mm-hmm.
you, but you might want to think again on what picture you
Yep.
have on Facebook, because now I'm judging you with a half a case of beer.
You know, that's absolutely correct. I've done so many job fairs. I've met so many job seekers over the last 4 years, and you would be surprised. I can meet a job seeker at a career expo. We engage. It leads to we're connecting on Facebook, and then the person on Facebook is not the person I met 4 hours ago in a suit and tie.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
completely different. Other factors, again, kind of play into how you're looked at as a person is. A lot of people put their religious affiliation or the religious status, they put their political affiliations. To us, there may be no harm in that, but it's all in the eye of the beholder. So if I'm a recruiter that does not practice the same religion that you practice, or I do not share in the same political beliefs that you believe in, that might have an impact on my decision one way or another. Again, it's not a perfect world. The job search process is skewed beyond belief, but that's reality that you have to keep in the forefront. Okay?
That's why it's
Yeah.
church and state for me.
But it's all in the same sandbox. It's all online. It's all accessible. You can't just put blockers up unless you completely put your page totally private that all they see is a photo, okay, and nothing else, which I believe you still can.
Yes.
But if not, it's out there. It's online.
Hey, Carlos?
Yes.
I'm a recruiter for a military training company, and so I'm recruiting for software engineers and folks who expect this. And I found two incredible software engineers, but both of them had made anti-military comments on their Facebook.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so we were not able to hire them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Never get a security clearance.
Your Facebook profile says a lot about you as a person. Forget as a professional, as a person. Okay? These are things that are being used by hiring companies and recruiters every single day in America to determine, is this someone that we want on our staff? Because let's face it, once you're hired by a company and you're on their payroll, you represent that company 24/7. Okay? You could come back from Jack's Beach, wasted and get a DUI and kill someone, and guess what? At the end of the day, it could be tracked that you're an employee of X company, okay, just because you had that on your Facebook to start with. Okay? So keep that in the forefront as you go through this process. I've known job seekers that have completely deleted their Facebook through this process. I wouldn't say go to that extreme, but do monitor the content. A good word of wisdom is whatever photo you have on your Facebook page, or on your on your LinkedIn, make that your Facebook profile picture.
makes sense.
That way it's concise, it's consistent. All right? Become a subject matter in your field. Use discussion forums. Again, this is kind of tied into social media in general, so as you're out there, what does become a subject matter expert mean? Anyone?
Just keeping up with what's out there as far as the improvements, changes, the way the industry is going. I mean, you look at where accounting and finance were 20 years ago, that's not where they are now.
Yeah.
They're different, it's gone.
When I say use discussion forums such as LinkedIn to provide feedback and expertise to others, what I mean by this is that when you're on LinkedIn, you're in the groups, don't be the guy or the girl that's hard selling yourself to people. Don't be like every other person that says, hey, I'm looking for a job, come hire me. Talk about your industry, add value. Talk about current events. So if I'm a banker and I'm looking for a job in the banking industry, what's hot, what's exciting in the industry? Talk about that. People will be compelled to gravitate to your profile to get to learn more about you. They say, wow, this Brian guy is really sharp, okay? So he's talking about things that are of interest to me. I should connect with him, okay? And then that's where the relationship starts from there. All right. Piece of advice, buy a domain, yourname.com, so brianquirk.com, hirebrianquirk.com, start up a blog, okay? This has worked for a lot of candidates out there. I've personally thrown this out there to a lot of candidates. Some have done it. They've been very successful because, again, now they can put content. They can really brand themselves as the guru or the expert in their field. Again, you're not just another job seeker. You're blogging. You're active. You're exposing yourself. There's people out there that will be seeing your efforts. The point that I'm trying to make through here is do not be viewed as just another job seeker. The competition for jobs is overwhelming, which goes back to this slide right here. Okay? How do you stand out when you're in this crowd? And that's social media. All right? That really is social media. It's a lot of people. LinkedIn just announced they have 150 million members worldwide. 150 million. All right? It's a lot of people. So how can you differentiate yourself from all those 150 million people? Okay? So as we dive into social media, I call it a job search strategy. It's no different than traditional business or marketing plan. This is really what you write. Please write this down. You want to ask yourself, who are you targeting? Who do you want to work for? What industry do you want to work in? Who are you going after? The next is, where are they located? So are you going after companies in Jacksonville? Are you broadening your scope to reach out to companies outside of Jacksonville, outside of Florida? Is anyone in this room looking for work outside Jacksonville, just by show of hands? Okay. One thing that I've known job seekers to do is on their profile, so if their job search is really targeted to, let's say, Atlanta, okay, they'll actually put an Atlanta zip code because then it appears that you're local. Companies from time to time do get turned off if a candidate is from out of state because then or out of the city, geographic region, because then they see this as a potential expense for them. They don't know if the candidate is expecting to be paid for relocation expenses, so
I'm doing it mostly through companies here that have other locations in Nexus and regional headquarters in other locations. Until Jacksonville starts looking up, you've got to keep your options open.
yeah.
Jacksonville right now is the armpit of Florida as far as the employment goes, and until it stops being that, you've got to look at other places.
Yep.
I'm not saying there's not opportunities here, but as big as Jacksonville is, it's still classified by population as a small city.
No. If you are relocatable, you may want to include somewhere in your LinkedIn profile, on your resume, that you are open to relocation. Okay? You may want to even go to an additional extent and add that you're open to relocation at your own expense. Okay? This is big because, again, companies perceive an out-of-state or out-of-city potential new hire as being an added expense. Okay? So, again, who are you targeting? Where are they located? How are you going to get in front of them? Okay, so this is a part of your strategy. How are you going to get in front of these companies? Is it going to be social media? Are you going to pick up the phone and call them? Are you going to just go on their website and apply? Are you going to go on a job board? Next, what will you say to them? So you find the company that you want to work for, you have them face-to-face, or you have an email address. What are you going to say, and how will you close the deal? Okay, so step number one, again, please write this down. Step number one is to create a hit list of 12 to 24 companies in your area that you really want to work for. Okay, the hit list is vital because this is setting up your strategy for success. So take a sheet of paper, write, and you don't have to do it right now, but when you go home, take a sheet of paper, write the numbers 1 through 24, and try to write down as many companies that you would like to work for. So in your industry, you know who the players are. If you're in education like Brian, you know who the players are. It might not be 24, it might be a little bit more than 12, it might be less than 12. But again, write as many folks down. Again, if you have transferable skills, that's not limited to a specific industry, write down the names of companies that you really want to work for. Can I move on? Questions? Okay. Step number 2 is to visit each company's career website and use job boards as a tool to find out what job openings may be available. Do not apply for any job openings just yet. So this, do not or don't, is the key. You are going to use your hit list. You're going to start with number 1. So if I'm a banker and I have Bank of America and Wells Fargo and SunTrust on down the list, I'm going to start bankofamerica.com. I'm going to go to their website. I'm going to go to monster.com and type in Bank of America. I'm going to research what job opportunities does Bank of America, starting again with the top of my list, working all the way down, I am going to research what opportunities do they have. Again, let's put this into context. A job that's been posted either on a job board, like a Monster Career Builder, or on an employer's website, more than likely that position has been unfilled for quite some time. Sometimes all the way up into, what would you say, 30 days?
At least. Yeah.
At least 30 days. You have to think a person gives in their 2 weeks notice, they're gone. Usually a company posts a position internally because they really want to find someone internally. They couldn't find someone internally, so then they make it available on the web. So a position's been out there for a long time. So as you're going on the websites, as you're on the job boards and you're seeing position posted 21 days ago, know that that position has more than likely been available now for about 2 months. Okay, if not more. But again, what you're doing at this point in time is you are writing down the opportunities that these potential employers are offering. Okay? So you got a hit list, and then on another sheet, you actually have real job opportunities. I call these job leads. All right? Because it's the lead that will get you in the door with the company. Yes?
I have a question. When you say you're looking for job openings, are you looking for job openings particular to what you want, or are you looking just in general at what kind of openings they have available?
Job openings that you see yourself
Okay.
meeting their expected criteria.
Okay.
This step will require time. Okay? This is research. You have to click the positions which are of interest to you. Like I said before, you need to read through what they are looking for. If you do not meet in the ballpark of what they're looking for, you need to move on. Because again, what you will find after you've done step 1 and 2, you're going to have a sheet probably from top to bottom full of jobs. And that's what gets really exciting, because now it's like a light bulb goes off. Now you have a renewed sense of confidence. You're like, wow, companies are hiring. Not just any companies, companies I want to work for. And better yet, they have opportunities which potentially I meet their qualifications and their skill set. Okay, that's what gets really exciting. Before I move on, do you understand up to this point the process more or less? Okay. Okay, list of companies that you want to work for. You do your research, 1 through 24, and then you have an actual list of real job openings. Do not apply for any job openings just yet. So I know it's tempting. Do not fall into the trap. Okay, it's not low-hanging fruit like you think it is. It's just a lead. There's no guarantee that they're ever going to call you back. What I am going to show you is how you can get in front of these employers. Okay, step number 3 is to visit LinkedIn.com. Run a people search. Do all of you more or less know how to run a people search? I have my next slide actually shows how to break that down. Run a people search for recruiters or HR managers in your area who work at the companies on your hit list. You want to work for CSX. They have 3 opportunities that are really appealing to you. Now the mission becomes, how do I make contact with a recruiter or an HR director or manager at CSX, right? Okay. Job boards, employer websites, it's one way. It's static. It's just one-way communication. It's you pushing information to them. It's not them pushing anything back to you, okay? Social media, again, what Wilfredo said is the dialogue. That is the key. Relationship building. For those of you in the back, even for me here in the front, it's kind of hard to see, but this is, you want to open up this screen by clicking Advanced, running a basic search. The fields I have on here is very simple. Recruiter for title, okay? You're going to type in the name of the company. So if it's CSX that you want to work for, you type in CSX, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, State Farm. Type in your zip code. I always do a zip code search, which is a 50-mile radius from where I live, okay? I don't want to go too much further than that. So I live in Mandarin. My zip code 32258 is covered. If I do a 50-mile radius search, it's covering all of Jacksonville, just about. Right here, I ran a search for recruiter in Jacksonville, and 758 came up in the search results. That's exciting. To me, that's exciting. Is that not exciting to you? It means we have access to nearly 800 recruiters right here in Jacksonville. Okay. Once you tie it down, your search results will be a little bit more limited. because you will be focusing specifically on recruiters for the companies that you want to work for. Just to give you some advice, because LinkedIn has kind of changed the game up a little bit, you need to join groups. By joining groups, it provides you with immediate access to contact members of the group. So as you're running a search, you may come on these individuals, right? And the only way to send them a direct message is either by connecting with them, by having a premium account, which I have a free account. You don't need to pay for the $24.95. Okay, LinkedIn would hate hearing me say that, but it's the truth. You can do everything within LinkedIn on the free account. Just the trick is to join as many groups. LinkedIn allows you to join 50, so join 50 groups. The way to get started, type in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a whole slew of groups. Do we have a group here, Harry?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Friends of Barnabas.
We have a Friends of Barnabas group, which you should join. Look up groups for your industry that you represent. So IT, healthcare, there's a lot of them out there. Okay, join 50. Proceed to this process right here. Okay, I get asked the question a lot. So Carlos, I found a recruiter at one of the companies on my hit list, or all the companies on my hit list. Do I invite them to connect? Is that a legitimate question? Okay, my answer is yes. Invite them to connect. This is where the dialogue begins. All right. So LinkedIn gives you very limited amount of characters. Introduce yourself. Hi Harry. I looked over your profile. I would like to connect on LinkedIn. I look forward to being in touch. Leave it very general, very vague. Harry accepts your invitation to connect, which is great. Check your email as folks accept your invitations. Why? Because in your email, it will show their email address. Something that you should look out for. So if I invite Harry to connect and Harry accepts my LinkedIn connection request, I'm going to be notified by email. Harry Corbett has accepted your invitation to connect. Congratulations. Now I'm going to see a snapshot of Harry's profile, and on the right-hand side, it will have Harry's email address. Okay? Little, what I call ninja trick to help you out. All right. This way, you had direct access, not only through LinkedIn, but through email. Know this. Recruiters, especially, they carry BlackBerries, iPhones. They tend to have their email, their company email tied up to their LinkedIn profile. If you send them a direct message, it will go directly to their phone because their work email is programmed on there. So you have direct access to a recruiter almost instantly. All right. Now, step 4, and I'll kind of walk you through what you'll say to a recruiter. Step 4 is to use LinkedIn as a tool to go directly to the source, establish dialogue, get in with who's hiring, and skip to the front of the line. The gatekeeper is always the biggest obstacle faced when trying to reach a decision maker. Why do I like social media? Well, because it gives me direct access to whoever I want to contact. I don't need to pick up the phone, say, hi, can I please speak to Brad Rainey? Sure, I tell Brad who's calling. Yes, it's Carlos Gill. Where are you calling from, Carlos? JobsDirectUSA. What's the nature of the call? Well, I'm calling to sell him something. I want to, really need to speak to him right now. Okay, well, Brad's busy. He'll call you back. There is none of that through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is direct access. That's why I like it. That's why I've embraced it. And that's why, hopefully, you see the value in doing the same. So, you reach out to a recruiter. What are you going to say to them? Okay? You may want to write this down as well. Hi, Brian. My name is Carlos Gill. Again, this goes into what I shared with you earlier. I am a technology professional with over a decade worth of experience in my industry. I was on your website. Do I have that here? Here we go. This is just a mock-up, really easy for you to go ahead and write down. But let me walk you through this process. Hi, Brian. My name is Carlos Gill. I am a technology professional with over a decade worth of experience. I was on your website and saw that you are hiring for the following positions. A, B, C. Limit it to 3. You don't want to put now a page worth of jobs. Limit it to 3. So pick the top 3. Or if it's less, just put 1 or 2. Following positions. Please advise when would be a convenient time to speak with you. Sincerely, Carlos Gill. This is just a very general introduction. Hi, my name is Carlos Gill. I am a technology professional with 8 to 10 years of experience in my industry. I'm seeking a career opportunity to represent, I'm seeking a financial sales opportunity to represent a career-oriented company or organization. This is very basic. Again, more detailed, more direct and to the point is, hi, my name is, this is great. State that you visited their website. This now shows the recruiter, the HR manager, that you invested the time to look them up, to do your research. I would like to inquire about the following positions. So you're listing them. And what's going to happen here is very simple. The recruiter is going to respond to you. And very quickly, they're going to be able to identify, out of those 3 that you listed, are they even available? So now you just save yourself a whole lot of time that otherwise you will have wasted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because now you've been able to identify, well, out of those 3, 2 are available, 1 was already filled. Or 1's available, or none are available. But since you approached them, they might come back and say, send me your resume. I'd love to take a look at it. Most of the time, this is what a recruiter will write back to you. Most of the time. 85% of the time. Hi, Brian. Thanks a lot for reaching out. Yes, the positions are still available. Can you please email me your resume? Or, if they don't say email me your resume, they might say, or please visit our website and apply online. Thank you. Okay? At this point, guess what's happened? You've established dialogue with someone on the inside. One of your goals, one of the toughest challenges and battles that job seekers have, has been accomplished. Because now you have a go-to person, a legitimate go-to person who can be perceived as a decision maker. Another avenue might be, I am not the recruiter over those positions, however, this is who is. And they might just give you their email address and then, you know what, go for the kill right there at that point. Email them. Okay? So-and-so referred me. They said that you are the recruiter over these positions. I was on your website. I'm really excited about your company and the opportunities that you had to offer. May I send you my resume? Don't include your resume in the initial transaction. Okay? You want them, this is like a chess match. You want to make a move, have them make a move back, and then you make a move and put the ball back in their court. Okay? You don't want to be one-way dialogue, whereas, hey, I heard about this opportunity, here's my resume, boom. I look forward to your call back. It doesn't work that way. All right, so 1 of 2 scenarios, recruiter emails you back, they want you to go to their website, or they want you to email them your resume. I guarantee you, before they even write back to you, they've probably already taken the time to look at your profile, and they already know this person's legit. They're already compelled because you just did what a lot of other candidates out there are not doing, which is taking the time to do your research, to reach out to them and make them feel special. Okay? The job of a recruiter, and you can back this up because you're a recruiter, sir, and you've worked in HR, the job of a recruiter is not to find unemployed individuals. The job of a recruiter is to find the most talented and qualified individual for a job. Correct? Okay? That's what they're trying to do. Well, if you're making their job easy for them, who are they going to be compelled to bring in for an interview? Who are they going to be compelled to bring into their company? The person that's already laid out the foundation for them. Is there a lot of truth to that statement? Okay? Either go through 100 resumes, or I had this really sharp candidate that just dropped in my lap overnight, has researched my company, I've seen their profile, they're legit, they possess what we're looking for, I'm impressed, I need to call them like now, before my competition gets a hold of them. That's reality. If you are implementing this strategy. Okay? So, with that said, the dialogue has been established. Okay? You have someone on the inside. Follow up. Very important. If they say go to our website and apply, do it. At this point, okay, you're making a wise investment of your time. They've already pre-screened you. They already might have seen your resume. They've seen your profile on LinkedIn, so they know more or less this guy or girl probably does have a shot, okay, to get their foot in the door. The application process online is a formality. Before I went to Winn-Dixie and even met with a single person, they made me go on their website and apply. But all this I'm telling you, I put this into place. I didn't just arbitrarily go on a website and apply. I followed this to a T, okay? And I waited for them to say, hey, listen, before we bring you in, just go on our website and complete the application. Just because it's a formality. It needs to happen. Great, cool. See you Tuesday. You know, that's how that works. So once you've applied, then you go back to them again through LinkedIn as the preferred channel, and you ask and you say to them, hey Bobby, or hey Susie, hey Bob, or say hi, not hey. I got excited. That happens from time to time. I really, if you can't tell, I'm really passionate about this, and I kind of amp up as the discussion goes on. So, hi Bob or hi Susie, I went on your website, I applied. What are the next steps? Okay, very simple question. What are the next steps? Well, now they're gonna say, wow, this person really is amped up. That excites me. Okay, it's not just a passive candidate; it's an assertive candidate. They're going to look at your resume. Again, now it's not a computer looking at your resume. It's a human being that will go into their applicant tracking system, probably Taleo. They're going to pull it out. They're going to print it. They're going to look at it. And the next step is going to be they're going to contact you and say either, when are you available for A, interview, or B, we are still accepting candidate applications for the next week or for the next few days. So again, the ball goes into your court. If they ask you to come in for an interview, great, you're on top of it. You're available ASAP. If it's B, give us about a week, then guess what? You add them to your follow-up calendar, and you're contacting them in a week. Okay, and you give them the time they're requesting. The name of the game here is continue that dialogue. Don't just assume, okay, that they're going to follow up with you and they're going to do what you want them to do. Because again, these are people. They're humans. They're inundated with people like you. Wage negotiation. First of all, I'm not a negotiator. Okay? I go into an opportunity being open and receptive to what is presented to me. Once it's presented to me, it's up to me and only me and my family to decide, does this make sense? Okay? What are you looking to make, Carlos? Well, you tell me, what do you feel I'm worth? I don't know what your high end or low end is, but perhaps we can meet somewhere in the middle. What do you think I'm worth? Again, it's putting the ball in their court. Okay, he who speaks about wage first or money will lose. Okay? Okay, well, we start at this, we go up to this, we see that you're right here. Okay, great. If they throw out some number out there that's like, wow, I didn't think I was worth that much, you take it and just run. Run for the hills and don't even look back. Okay? If you cannot live with what they present to you, if you cannot pay your mortgage or your rent and your car and your living expenses, then it doesn't make sense. Again, it kind of goes back to what we spoke about before. This is where you value yourself and you put realistic expectations forward. You know what you're worth and you know what you need to live, okay, as far as money goes. So I've never, in my time now of working in corporate America, I've never, ever been one to come out and say, this is what I really need to make. I don't want to be perceived as that guy. I don't want to be perceived as the guy that's money hungry, because I'm not. I'm opportunity hungry. I'm searching for opportunities in which, if given the right opportunity, I know I can be successful, and with success comes money. Do you kind of understand how that works? With opportunity, it's up to you to be successful, and with success comes money. Yes?
I have a question regarding that. One of the things I've been concerned about as I've been going through the whole process is, obviously you always have to go online to fill in the job application, that's door to door. And then there's normally a section on there that says, you know, what salary do you want and your past salary history. If I can get around it, if their little field will accept characters, you know, I write something in there, like, you know,
Yeah.
willing to negotiate, or, you know,
I put zero.
you know, something, so you just put a zero in
I put a
there,
zero.
just fill the
I will
field?
work for free for the right opportunity.
Okay,
No, not true, but I will put a zero.
okay,
Because again, this is all about what makes you unique and stand out.
okay,
If every other person's putting 100,000 plus,
right.
and here comes this one guy that's probably as qualified, if not more qualified, but puts a zero, okay, that's humbling yourself. And that's saying to them, I'm a team player. I'm willing to come here and make a difference. What do you think I'm worth?
Okay.
Okay? Now, you obviously will put what you've previously made, and they can kind of figure it out. If they're seeing something trending here, you know, every job that you've taken, you're increasing your income by about 15 to 20%. They get it. Okay? They're not going to insult you and make a lowball offer. Okay? They just won't. Okay? Comes to a point where they kind of get it. Okay? This is a person that's probably expecting to be compensated right around what they were previously making, maybe a little bit more. Okay? Again, this kind of goes back to if you're given the opportunity, the entry-level opportunity, you're going to do everything you can to work your way up. Same thing goes with pay. You're eager to return back to work, so I would not have this mentality of I need to make this much beyond my means. You really need to make what you need at this point, because anything is better than unemployment benefits. Agreed? Anything is better than nothing. Agreed? Okay? So with that mentality, okay, just go into it being open, negotiable. Don't even bring up income. A lot of people are very quick in the initial phone interview process, in the face-to-face process. They'll say, you know, so what do you guys pay? Let them be so intrigued that they wonder, how come Susan hasn't even brought up pay? Is she going to work for free? Let it be to the point where they come out and say, so what are you looking to make? We haven't talked about it. What are you looking to make? And then that's where you come back and say, well, you know, I'm open. What do you think I'm worth? Okay. All right, moving on. Step 5 is to apply when and only when you've established dialogue with the recruiter. On the inside, we talked about this. They will ask you at some point to come in for an interview and apply in person or via their website. Now you have a go-to person. Step 6 is, there's really not step 6. It ends at 5. I call this own your success. You own your success. The Lord has blessed me with the talents and the abilities to come here and speak to you today. At the end of the day, unfortunately, I cannot sit in your seat and make it happen for you, okay? But it's up to you to own your success. Now, keep this in mind. It's up to you. You must put yourself in front of recruiters and hiring companies. I think we can agree with that. Recruiters are no longer turning to just job boards or career fairs to find candidates. What recruiters have done through the evolution of social media is they are building talent pipelines. A really good recruiter, okay, anytime they have a job opening, they should be able to just jump right into their LinkedIn network, okay, and find you, okay? That's what a lot of good known recruiters are doing. So don't get discouraged if you connect. We've got a recruiter in the room right here, okay? He has access to other recruiters. Keep in touch with him. I hate to put you out there like that, but I always try to pick on the one recruiter in the room. Use him, okay? Tap into his network. He knows other recruiters. He's known you through here, through this workshop. Moving on, most job seekers will rely solely on traditional resources. There are a lot of folks, believe it or not, all of you seem pretty savvy and you get it. There's a lot of folks that are still relying on what worked in 1999. It's 2012 now, so don't be the ones that are relying solely on traditional resources. Turn to social media because, like I said before, it's all about who you know and who knows you. Again, part of you owning your success, this is kind of a house rules of LinkedIn and social media. Wow, I guess that's like the timer that you have set up. All right, build new relationships through social networking, online and off. So what do I mean by this is everyone that you come across, everyone. These relationships are being built here are offline relationships. We should make them online relationships. So use social networking to your advantage. Promote a pay it forward, can I help you attitude. Again, what's made me successful, quasi-successful in business? It's because I started up a company just wanting to help people. Not a business, not an enterprise, just an organization to help people. Keep your doors open to new connections. That's another one. And the last, this is really the mantra I've lived by for 4 years now. You know, believe me, folks, before I got to where I was, I've gone through a lot of hard times financially, personally, professionally. I always kept something in mind besides God. Failure is not an option, okay? If you expect to fail, you will fail. If you expect to succeed, it might take you a while to get there, but you will be successful. So keep that in mind. Failure is not an option. And this is my info for you to find me, connect with me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me. I'm on Foursquare, I'm on YouTube. So I'm a resource for each and every one of you. Reach out to me. I'm always accessible. I live by my iPhone. My wife and my kids hate it, but that's just the position I put myself in. So any way that I can help you, let me know. I always say like, comment, share, pay it forward. If you see something that you like on the web, Facebook, for example, make sure you like it, make sure you comment, make sure you share it with your network. That's what I call paying it forward. Give others information that you've been blessed to receive. So with that said, do we have any questions? Do we have time for some questions?